Marriage is hard, but guess what? African marriage is harder. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Joy. If this is the first time you've seen this beautiful face, please do not make it your last. Do well to like, subscribe, share, and be a part of our community, alright? If you're an OG, thank you for sticking with me. I do not take you for granted. Very quickly, I want us to talk about African marriages in diaspora. Why African marriages fail in diaspora. I'm not a marriage counselor. I'm not even old enough to give unsolicited marriage advice. I'm saying unsolicited because a lot of people will say, oh, you're not even, how old are you that you're giving marriage? This is not an advice. This is just my own experience, what I've seen in Australia, what I've seen in abroad. So I'm just here to give you guys a bit of that and just, rub minds. All right. Now, feel free to drop your thoughts in the comment section. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is culture shock. A lot of people do not understand how big of a deal this is until you actually leave your home country and come to another country. I was told of a story of a lady who her husband brought into Australia, right? And then when she came in, they got married overseas. And then they came into Australia because apparently the husband lives here. When she came in, she attended one of the local churches and she saw Nigerian women, going to work, how they were talking about how they were contributing to the finance of the family. And the next thing she was like, it can never be me. God forbid, will I ever do that? He is the man of the house for a reason. And that just struck me because this is the change of mindset I'm talking about. If you're migrating to abroad or if you leave Nigeria and move abroad, best believe things are done differently. Just the same way a woman is expected to work and contribute to the family finance, that is the same way a man is expected to contribute to his home by changing the nappy of his kids, by cooking, by cleaning. Because it is not one man's responsibility, all right? You cannot leave all that burden to a woman. And this is one of the things that cause issues in marriages because when you don't have that mindset, when you don't have that orientation, or when you've spent all your life living in Nigeria where there is typical patriarchy. Now, this leads me to my second point, which is patriarchy. In a situation where there is typical patriarchy, I'm the man of the house. It is my house. Get out of my house. If you do anyhow, I will change it for you. I will send you out of my house. How can you send a woman who contributes to that house out of her own house? Okay, it doesn't make sense. Now, this is not typical in Nigeria because, like I said, in Nigeria, there's so much patriarchy. There's so much my thing, I'm the head of the family, families interfering in the marriage. In abroad, it's not like that. You both are partners, you both are a team, and you're not allowed to bring in a third party except obviously consented by both of you, all right? So your mother-in-law from wherever she is cannot come and tell you what to do in your house and abroad because you both are literally working together to keep that home running. This is why most times you hear stories like, oh, her husband brought her abroad and she left her husband and followed another man. Oh, her husband brought her and she divorced him and, took all his properties. Stories like that. The reason why this is because, so guys, I decided to hold my microphone to word of background noise, all right? So as I was saying, a lot of women will move abroad and they would now realize that, oh, this system is not as lawless or as lenient as where I'm coming from. Okay, in this system, when a man misbehaves or when a woman misbehaves, the law comes serious on them. The law takes it serious. Okay, so this is why you see a lot of women when they migrate, they'll say, oh, I can actually exercise my human rights. I can actually do this. So all those quote and unquote nonsense they usually take from their husbands or women or men take from their wives, they will now say, oh, you know what? I can no longer take this nonsense from you because they now know that they are in a system that is lawful and is structured, all right? So a lot of things that women would ordinarily swallow, all the bullshit, all the lies, cheating, infidelity, and all that stuff, they would not want to take it in this system because they know the system would fight for them. Okay, which takes me to the third point, which is the laws that protect marriages in abroad. Now, these laws are supposed to protect both parties, not just the woman. It's supposed to protect both the husband and the wife, right? But in most cases, the law favors the woman. That's why you see most times when there's a divorce, the man has to share his property into two and give the woman one, especially if kids are now involved. Okay, if kids are in the picture, forget about it, because the woman is going to go with literally everything. Okay, so the law favors the woman, and the moment women understand this, it's almost like their wings begin to fly because they are not used to such liberty, such freedom. All right, so these are the problems, these are the issues that affect marriages. The next point I want to talk about is lack of help. For a lot of people who are privileged to be back home, where you can afford a driver, a nanny, a chef, a whatever, you can afford all those luxuries. I call them luxury because when you come abroad, you understand that you cannot afford those things, all right? Imagine being used to that system only for you to migrate and realize that you have to do every single thing yourself. In a situation where you now have kids, oh my god, when kids are involved, it's a whole ball game. It's a whole new ball game, right? So imagine when a woman has to go to work and come back. Mind you, you have to work because it is not sustainable for only the man to do the work here and abroad, right? Imagine when you now have to work and come back and you have to cook, you have to clean, you have to take care of the kids, you have to cook for that man, you have to be a wife, a mother, do all the basic things. Are you telling me that that woman would not feel irritated, especially in a situation whereby the husband is not supportive or the husband is forming patriarchy? Oh, I'm the man of the house, I provide. If you can provide, why is the woman working? If you can provide, why does the woman have to work as well? All right. So these are the things that cause issues. And guess what? The things that cause issues are these things, as little and as minute as they are. These are the things that actually blow out of proportion if care is not taken. The next one is the work-life balance. A lot of people come abroad and they get carried away, especially as a man. You get carried away having to work. You want to walk around the clock, forgetting that you actually have a wife at home, forgetting that you actually have kids that need your time and attention. In a situation where that woman is piling up her anger and her wrath against what you're not doing right, because whether you're working hard, whether you're the man of the house or not, you owe that woman you, if that makes sense. You're supposed to be a husband amongst every other thing. You're supposed to be a father, a provider, whatever it is that is, you're supposed to be a husband as well as she being a wife to you. So in a situation where you're missing that role or you're not doing the right things, there will be an outburst someday, and that outburst would not be nice. So creating a work-life balance is something I know that a lot of us struggle with. We're still struggling till now because it is not easy to create that balance. Like I said, especially when you have to do so many things by yourself, you have to literally be on top of your game with your kids, your family, your home. Everything has to be prime and proper. Sometimes you have little or no time to even show love to your husband or to be that man or be that woman he or she wants you to be. But these are the issues. And then my last point will be peer pressure. In a situation whereby your wife or your husband meets somebody who does not have good values or similar values or values that would help propel your marriage to become better, boy, that marriage would lead to doom, right? Because imagine having a friend who disrespects her husband, who talks down on her husband, who is not faithful, who is very carefree about, keeping her home. Best believe there are chances that with time I'll gradually begin to act like that. Okay, so sometimes peer pressure leads people to do things they don't want to do. I heard of a story one time where a lady came into Australia and she met this lady who divorced her husband and started working in a strip club, and before you knew it, the other lady said she was done with her marriage because this other friend or her friend was telling her what to do. Right? So imagine being in that situation where you don't surround yourself with good people or surround yourself with people that have similar values or similar culture, then there will be a problem. This leads me to the solution or the things I think would help, especially for people that are new to the abroad living system as either husband or wife or as a couple. The first thing I think is very important will be communication, guys. speak about everything, like verbal communication. By verbal communication, I don't mean no unspoken words, right? Everything has to be laid on the table, everything has to be communicated in plain English. By plain English, I don't mean, oh, love, like, no. Talk about it. Talk about every single thing, as little as things that you're likely going to assume. Now, I'm going to give you guys an example. When we had our baby, it was such a big turning point for us in our marriage because my husband has never been a father. I have never been a mother. So none of us came in with a wealth of experience to the table to say, okay, this is how things are going to be done. Both of us were literally learning on the job, right? There were certain things he was doing that I was not appreciating, or I did not like, or that wasn't hitting me where I wanted. Okay. So he thought he was doing right by me by doing the right things, but he wasn't doing what I wanted him to do, right? I would not sit and assume that, oh, he has to get it right. I had to call a family meeting. Like, we had to sit down, like husband and wife, during like pillow talks. And I poured it out. I'm like, this is what I want you to do. This is how best you can support me as a new mom. All right. And I also asked him, how best do you think I can support you? How best do you think I can actually be that mother to our child while still being that wife to you? Okay. And we talked about it. And that was, so communication is very, very important. Talk about every single thing. Every single thing, all right? Another thing I want to talk about is instinct. It might cut across as a two-way thing, but it's very sequel to the first point I gave. You see how you talk to your husband about your friends, and your husband talks to you about their friends. Women are naturally very intuitive. They have very clear instinct. This is a gift God gave to them. They know, they see things from afar. They begin to smell it even before it decays. Okay, that is one thing women know how to do, so, and likewise men as well. So talking about like your friends, things that are happening in your circle of friends is very important, because sometimes you might have a friend who you don't know is not good for you, but your partner knows that friend is not good for you. All right. Sometimes your husband might have friends that push him to do certain things that are against your culture or against the values your family share. It is in that communication that you get to see these things and you get to warn them and be like, I don't like this guy, I don't like this girl, I don't like that they do this, I don't like that they do that. These things help, because that's how you get to cut off friends or cut off people that are going to lead you against or going to lead you astray. Okay, I don't think it's just kids that are led astray. Adults too are led astray. It go shock you. Adults too go through peer pressure. Okay, peer pressure is real, irrespective of age. So adults too are victims of this. So talking to your partner about certain things, and I know some people will say, oh, I don't discuss everything with my husband. That depends on your family and the kind of marriage or relationship you have. But if you're in a relationship where you guys talk about everything, it is worthy to talk about this thing, some of the things you and your friends talk about, because that way, if there's a rat smelling somewhere, if your partner is very sensitive, he's going to catch it right on time before it spoils something for you guys. All right. The next point will be your ability to unlearn, learn, and relearn. Coming into a new environment, coming into a new space, takes a lot, because like I said, you're probably used to things you do back home, how life is back home. When you move to Australia or any country that is not your home country, things are done differently. Okay, you need to be receptive of those changes. You need to be able to put yourself in a position where you're teachable and where you're willing to adapt into the new system. Just like they say, when you go to Rome, you behave like the Romans, right? So when you are in abroad, you have to do things differently. You need to be willing to learn these things. You need to be willing to work together collaboratively with your partner to be able to now find new ways to structure your home that would fit into that system where you find yourself, if that makes sense. The next point will have to be the God factor. Guys, I would never ever take away the God factor from my marriage, because I know that there are certain things that would have gone wrong if not for the intervention of the Holy Spirit. There are certain decisions, there are certain actions that you know how you're angry and you're boiling and you just want to scatter everywhere, you just want to burst everywhere, and the Holy Spirit just tells you, calm down, hear his own side of the story, calm down. So this is the role of the Holy Spirit. Okay, this is how, so the God factor is very important. The ability for both of you to hold hands together in prayer, the ability for both of you to fall at his feet every time, to submit it all to God, the ability for you to make your marriage a three-way cord where God is up and you and your husband or you and your partner and down, okay? A three-way cord can never be broken. A three-way cord where God is the center of it all can never be broken. This thing is making too much noise in my video and it's not funny, but I'm going to continue anyway because I'm shooting outside. Anyway, so a three-way cord can never be broken. So being able to bring God into the middle, being able to call God into your business, being able to commit God and just ask God to lead your home, to lead your marriage is very, very important. Like I said, call me Christian, call me whatever, call me too religious, but that factor is inevitable for marriages to thrive in abroad. Seriously. The next point is not to compare your marriage. Comparison, like you already know, is a thief of joy, right? When you compare yourself, just let's not even talk about marriage. When you compare yourself in other areas, you see how it turns out. Like it's always a disaster. It same goes with marriage. When you compare your marriage or the things that goes on in your marriage with that of somebody else that you don't even know how they came about or how they came to be, that is going to be doom waiting to it's just doom preparing to explode, right? So being able to be content in what your marriage is, what your husband has to offer. This is not to say that they would not be better or they won't strive to be better, but being able to understand that this is how my family is, this is how my structure is, that's just the best, okay? Do not ever compare yourself to anybody or anybody's marriage or anybody's husband. This person's husband is doing this, so my husband must do it. Or this person's wife is doing this, so my wife must do it. That's all I can say. The last point is to surround yourself with good people and a good community. One of the reasons why I go to a Nigerian church is because of this. Because it makes me feel like I'm at home. It connects me to my roots, right? So being able to connect yourself to a community that is like-minded, that reminds you, that reiterates your cultural values and beliefs is very, very important. All right. African churches, for example, you see a lot of Africans there, you see a lot of Nigerians where you're like, okay, this person a lot of similar cultures and values that would help you know that you're right in course, people that are there to encourage you. A lot of families that you see them and you're like, okay, if these people can do it, I can do it. If these people can survive living in abroad for 10-15 years and still have a happy home, I can do it. Okay, so it's there to motivate you, to encourage you. Your pastors, your spiritual leaders, your heads, those people are important. Do not ever take away their place. So do not ever undermine the importance of living in a community or being in a community or an environment with like-minded people, especially if you have neighbors that are Africans or Nigerians. Oh my God, God bless you then, because you're going to be very lucky. Okay, so these things I've mentioned or these points I've listed have helped me firsthand, right? I'm saying this from experience. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I am not a marriage counselor. I do not have any degree in marriage, whatever. All I came here to tell you guys is from experience and from the things I've seen, right? So if you know that you're planning to migrate or you just landed to any part of the country, any part of the world, US, Canada, Australia, UK, this is a video that you must watch. Sometimes people say, oh, it is easy. It's not easy, because life can be very funny. Sometimes you don't even know that your marriage is going south until things turn very, very bad. By then you start looking for how to patch, how to remedy, how to. So please share this video. Somebody needs to watch this video. It is your responsibility as a community member to share this video to people who would love to watch it. Let me know in the comment section if you've experienced any of this, if you can relate to any of the points I've given. Let me know what your experience is. Let me know what your questions are. Do not forget to leave them in the comments below, and I will definitely attend to each and every one of them. Okay, thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you for being a part of this community. I do not take your love and your loyalty for granted, and until next time, bye.